From my personal experiences, I feel the assessment of learning styles does lead to instruction that better serves the students. However, my belief aligns more closely with the article by Heather Walpert Gallren, where she states, "Common sense proves to me that there are different learning styles, and they don't just break down into a few categories. This year, I have 252 students. Thus, I have 252 learning styles. Yes, I believe that there is a such thing as learning styles, but who's to say that these styles just fall into the seven categories? I do believe that some students will learn best by a particular method, but I think it is more individualized as opposed to you simply saying your results show you're this kind of a learner. As far as teachers using methods that are not research based, I think it can have its pros and cons. Research is supposed to prove or give evidence for a particular topic. So, if there is research on a given teaching technique, for example, learning styles, the research should tell you whether or not it would be beneficial or not to implement the technique into your classroom. The research gives teachers something to look back and say, oh, this is what the researchers did. This is how it affected the students, whether positive or negative, and ultimately, will this be beneficial for my set of students? Research allows teachers to ensure the parents that the classroom strategies and techniques that they are using are legit and have shown to have positive impacts on students' instruction, behavior, or what have you. Not only does research ensure parents that you are making the appropriate decisions for their children, but research also shows your administrator or principal that you are using strategies that have been through research and has proven to be beneficial. That is how research fits into the daily lives of teachers. On the other hand, some techniques could be so modern that they have not had the opportunity to be researched extensively. But does that mean that the teacher should not use this strategy? I would have to say absolutely not. Learning is about making mistakes, and quite frankly, if you attempt to implement the strategy once or twice and you do not see any benefits from it, you can simply trash it and go back to the drawing board. With that being said, I do not believe that unresearched classroom strategies are a disservice to the profession. So I say all this to get to the questions. Should teachers care about research? And simply from my experience, do they care about research? In my opinion, you cannot have a claim and not have significant research or evidence to back it up. If I were a parent, I would want to know that you are making the best decisions possible for my child, and what way to show me than by showing me the research. Being an International Baccalaureate IB graduate, I had the opportunity to have a class known as Theory of Knowledge, or TOK. One thing that I took from this class is that you cannot make a claim without having evidence to support you. My teacher even discussed the subject of learning styles and how they had no research to back them up, and he simply rebutted the concept. So, from my past experience of being in IB and even other classes prior to that, I do believe that teachers care about research. As far as the quote from the Landrum and McDuffie article, I would have to say that I agree with their claim to a certain extent. It is important to differentiate instruction for students, for example, English language learners, ELLs. However, learning styles, not the typical seven categories that many think of when they hear the word learning styles, but the learning styles of each individual student from observation does have a positive effect on instruction. From the article that I mentioned above by Heather Walper Gallren, the learning styles that she lists are ones that she herself observed while her students were in the classroom. They are not some labels that are attached from an unresearched myth, but rather personal observations from being in the classroom with the students, seeing how they work best, seeing how they perform best, whether that be individual, with a group, with this certain amount of kids, whether that's away from a window, whatever, what have you. Um, the learning style should be observed by the teacher and particular to each individual student, not some label that research or unresearched topics have given to a student from an assessment.